Alright, we should be live. How many days did I miss on stream? Like 3? 2 or 3? I think it was 2. I should be streaming tomorrow, but I'm not sure, to be honest. It's gonna be a last minute decision. Hey Jake, what's going on? Let me fix my thumbnail. Yeah, a little choppy on SPY today. Probably mostly going for a gap fill. You pretty much filled the gap. It missed a little bit of it. It's a little worrying. I always hate when it does this, where it like comes all the way down, almost fills the gap, but then it just barely doesn't fill it. Hey Nahal, what's going on? Let me, let's see, what was I doing? Alright. Sorry, that was me. Alright, we should be good now. Can I check out B-Big? Yeah, B-Big I actually mentioned in Discord earlier. It had a lot of calls coming in. 266,000 calls today, which is pretty interesting because you typically don't see stuff that pumps like this to have a lot of calls like towards the high like this. So people are getting in on the action pretty high up on this. Why is my trading view being so laggy? Do I have something open? No. But yeah, it had a, I think it was, what did we say? It was NFT related. They made some kind of like NFT announcement, so they started pumping pretty hard. That was like way down here when it was like $3. So it looks like it might go for like a secondary move. People are buying up the calls. It doesn't have a lot of puts either. Only has like 50,000 puts maybe. Close to 300,000 calls. You know, a name that we haven't seen in a while getting a lot of calls is CCJ, the uranium company. Look at that thing go. That thing's on fire today. And then Netflix. I haven't seen Netflix on my call scanner in a long time. They're a little high, though. I don't know if I'd buy calls up here. What's going on, Young? The shippers are still paying, if you guys are in the shippers. NMM had a massive spike this morning, but then we kind of sold off. Kind of nasty candle here. If it re-loses like 29.50, 29, I might take profit on this. Because we're already up like 25%, 30% on that. So, that's more than enough for me to be happy. Even though it's a long-term portfolio, this gain is very good. Same thing with Zim. If this re-loses like 49, I'm probably going to close that. And then Maddox, if it re-loses like 78, 90, somewhere around 79, somewhere around there. If it loses that, I'll close. But my long-term portfolio is up almost 20% just this month, which is massive for the long-term portfolio. Those are gains that we typically see on the short term, not the long term. So I will more than happy. I'd be more than happy to take profit on those if they do pull back. If not, we just let them go straight up. The best thing to do, it's kind of like what I'm doing with Netflix. I'm still holding long-term shares on Netflix. The best thing to do with like your long-term portfolio is don't set profit targets. Set like more trailing stops. Because for long-term stuff, almost everything wants to go up. Like they want to perpetually go higher. So you don't want to cut yourself short saying like, this is where I want it to go by this date. If it's a long-term portfolio, you just say like, okay, we just broke a major level. Like Microsoft, for example, like we broke this major level around like 290, 295. So like if you had some shares long-term for Microsoft, you could say like, okay, if it gets back below 295, I'll close it. And then if we start pumping again, I'll buy some shares back. It's a lot better to do that than to have targets. A good example of that is what I did with Costco. So Costco was in my short-term portfolio. So short-term, if you guys remember this trade, we bought it back here when it was ranging, and I had a target of 400 and 410. So in hindsight, these targets were way too shallow. And it hit both of our targets, so we closed. If this was in my long-term portfolio, we would have just waited for it to lose a level. So like, you broke a level here, you could say like, okay, if we lose that level, I'm done. Or like here, we broke a level there. If we lose that, I'm done. Same thing here. Put in another level. Put in another level. You see how it's just like putting in these resistance levels, then breaking them, pulling back. So if this was in a long-term portfolio, it's not giving you any signs to close this trade. This sucks. We could have made a massive profit on this. We did make a good profit because we were pretty over leveraged on that. But this is a huge gain. We closed around 400, 410. It's at 460. And it's funny, I said before I closed, it doesn't matter where you close Costco, you will always close early. Because zoom out on Costco. It just literally just goes up. So it does not matter where you close that thing. You're closing early. We had a couple volume profile trades today. I didn't personally, but I mean like the market gave you some trades. Do you guys know what those trades were? The major trade was the value area retracement trade here, the 80% rule. So we had the loss of the value area high yesterday, and then you would have targeted the value area low, right? The second trade would have been like if we take this morning's profile, you could take the initial balance too, or you just take the profile as it was developing. Once we started to like lose this support here outside the value area low, because when you're outside the value area low on a balanced day, you're supposed to see an immediate bounce. You're supposed to just be mean reverting, right? So you have the value area high, or like the upper tail, the lower tail. So when you're in these areas, you shouldn't be seeing a lot of heavy momentum. You should be seeing like weak sells and then bounce, and then weak buys and then bounce or reject. But once we had that sell, that strong candle below the low, that was a trade that you could have taken down towards your yesterday's levels. Value area high, POC, value area low. You could even take the gap fill. You would have hit all of your targets except for the gap fill. Those were the two main trades. There was obviously some other trades, but those were the two like very obvious ones that you guys probably would have caught. So right now we're actually seeing something very bearish happen. We have the loss of yesterday's value area high, which is now today's value area low, and then we're retracing and failing it. You see how it's failing it right here? And look at the reaction we're getting already. So right now, like right this instant, I wouldn't be super bearish because this could just be retesting the accumulation here. But this, if you shorted that, that's a very good entry because you're shorting a retest, a bearish retest of the value area low. So not bad. But this could be like a bulldog kind of. Like if we go down to like a 3 minute, yeah, it's kind of like a bulldog here. Pop up, pull back. As long as you bounce here, it's not too bad. You said the 80% rule in the SP 500 was so good. Shame I couldn't take that because I was already over leveraging on US oil. Yeah, oil's been giving some crazy moves lately. The price action is pretty significant. Like look at that nasty sell-off V reversal. This V reversal mainly due to the hurricane and then OPEC, obviously. But the hurricane in the Gulf was definitely a big problem. Take a look at Bitcoin. Yeah, I can take a look. So Bitcoin, where's my chart? I mentioned this in Discord. Bitcoin is on a massive key level here. This is the most important level probably in this entire range. The 50,200 level. The reason it's so important is because this is the value area low of this entire distribution, like this entire range here, right? It's the same level that started the massive sell-off. Like once we lost that level, we nuked. And now we're pulling all the way back to retest it, right? So we have an 80% rule here. This is the volume profile of the distribution. So if we're a longer term trader, we can use that same technique. And we can say that if it reclaims this range, you have a very high chance that it will go to the other side. Now, this is not exactly the 80% rule, so it's not going to be an 80% probability. But the technique is still the same. So there is a very high probability that it should retrace all the way back to 61 if you maintain above 50,200 for at least a few days. I'd probably say like a week or so. So you get like a week or so of price action up here. You should be able to get a nice little boost. Now, obviously, you could target the POC as well. So that'd be a lot easier to target. Around 56,000. But the main target would be 61. Now, right now, we're failing this level, so there's nothing bullish about what's happening right now. We actually had a massive Ethereum trade. I didn't mention it on stream because we weren't streaming. I had to take a few days off. But I mentioned it in Discord. Or no, actually, you guys did I'd mentioned it on stream. The last stream that we did, remember me and Sticky were talking about taking a massive leverage trade on Ethereum. I just closed that trade. So if you guys took that trade along with us in the stream, you guys made a lot of money. It was a very stupid trade, very risky trade, but it worked out. So our target was 35.76, the weekly pivot. So we closed it. Now, sadly, the day after we closed it, or I guess you could say the same day, it just kept pumping. It pumped really hard, and it went to 38. If you guys looked at my analysis in Discord, I said 38 is 4,100 is the next major target, but there is small resistance at 38. So 38 is acting as resistance for now, but once we break that, should be very easy to get to 41. There's really nothing in your way. And I believe 38, it was a fib level or it was a volume profile level. I think it was volume profile. Let's see. I can't remember how I found that level. I think it was a volume profile gap. But there was a key resistance there. For now, Bitcoin is definitely lagging Ethereum. Ethereum is the leading indicator for now. And pretty much anything that is related to NFTs, like Solana, Ray, they are doing very, very well. The NFT market is like the bubble right now. It's like Sticky says, a double bubble, right? We had like the crypto altcoin bubble for a little bit there, and now we're shifting into like the NFT bubble. We're not shifting into it, we are deep in it. You see what happened here? This is what I was saying earlier. This pullback was not, at the time, very bearish. If you caught it here, this is bearish. But right here, this is not. Because you're retesting an accumulation. So that actually bounced us. So if we break above this level, it doesn't look too bad. Could get a little volume gap fill. Could get POC. Where's VWAP today? Yeah, could get VWAP. VWAP at 453. Like I said, I'm not sure if I'm streaming tomorrow. I'm going to be moving in a lot of my stuff to the new house tomorrow. So we most likely will not be streaming, but if I find time, I'll let you guys know. We should be back to fairly normal next week. But I have to get my internet set up. I got to get my office ready. It's going to be a lot of work. The market's closed on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty sure it is. Let me check. It's one thing as a trader. It doesn't matter how many years you have trading, or at least for me. I cannot remember the trading holidays. The only ones I remember are like the obvious ones, like Christmas, Thanksgiving. I can't remember the small ones. Let's see, is Labor Day? Yes, it is. Okay. So the markets are closed on Monday, so we wouldn't stream Monday anyway. So hopefully by Tuesday we'll be okay. Christmas is on a Friday this year too, so we'll get a short week that week as well. There's only 3 trading holidays left on the year: Labor Day, which is Monday, and then we have Thanksgiving and Christmas. Tomorrow is the release of the non-farm employment change. It shouldn't have too much of a big impact. The economic numbers haven't really been doing anything. And it's because the Fed, when the Fed is pumping the market, the economic numbers don't matter. Which is really sad. It shows that we're in a bubble. But that's just how it is. And it's actually funny. We saw this last week. Or I think it might have been this week. We had some bad economic numbers come out. And then the Fed said they might have to push back their tapering because of the bad economic numbers. So what did the market do? The market went up because that's bullish. So bad economic numbers in this bubble is actually good for the market. It's not good for the economy, but it's good for the market. Because as the Fed is pumping, they're not tapering, right? And when they start tapering, that becomes bearish. So when the bad economics start coming, or when the bad economic numbers stop coming out, and it shows the economy is in a very good place, then there's no reason for the Fed to continue to pump, which means they have to taper. Tapering is like a fancy word for the Fed to turn the printer off. Just remember it as that. If they taper, they turn the printer off. Or they don't exactly turn it off, they slow it down. How is trading usually going into Christmas Day? It's pretty bullish. The day after Christmas is one of the most bullish days of the year, historically. December 26th is historically one of the most bullish days of the year. But sadly, this year, December 26th is on a weekend. Pretty much the entire month of December is green, historically, except for the second week. November and December are very, very good months. Same thing with November, though. The second to third week, it gets a little red, but that's about it. And I think that mainly has to do with options expiring. Most of the time, options monthlies will expire on that second or third week. Yeah, it should be. Basically, from Christmas to New Year is typically one of the most bullish weeks of the year. And then you start seeing the heavy selling the first week of January, and then February is one of the worst months of the year. Because you have people selling all the stuff they didn't want to sell last year because they didn't want to pay taxes, right? So they start heavily selling late January until like the entire month of February. The two best months of the year are April and November. And April and December are kind of the same. So April, November, December. Avoid February, as you saw this year. February was awful this year. So you see how we were not able to break above this level? So now it's bearish again. You're getting stuck between two major levels here. You have an accumulation around this pivot, and then you have the value area high, which is also the value area low. You like how perfectly that lines up? This is the beauty of volume profile. Look at this. It's literally the exact same level. To the penny, today's value area low and yesterday's value area high is the same exact level. This is kind of like what Bill Williams talks about when he talks about chaos. Everybody always hears the word chaos and you think of like bad, right? You think of like stuff going crazy and like everything out of order. But chaos in the market is just the fact that millions of different things are happening at the same time, but it all leads to one thing: price action, right? Price. This is showing a bull trap on the Momo. The trend line tried to push higher, but it stayed relatively flat. Short-term momentum was climbing rapidly, but then it quickly sold off. So that tells you that the trend is still bearish. The bulls tried to push it up and then failed it instantly, pretty much. So until the Momo pushes back above this peak, It is in a bull trap. The bulls are trapped here. The Momo also did a very good job of warning you that that was bottoming right there. This is one of my favorite patterns. When I made a video about this, about like the tweezers. So when you have like tweezers in an area like this, and you throw on the Momo, and the Momo is also showing you a bottom warning, that is a very high probability you're going to see a bottom there. Very similar to what happened back here, but it gave you a bull div. So you had a bottom warning, then you had the wicks, and instead of giving you the bottom warning here, it gave you a bull div. So even better. Yeah, I showed Bitcoin already. I can go over it quickly again. Basically what I was saying on Bitcoin is this level here is very important. If we can hold above this level for like a week or so, you should be able to get 56 to 61. But for now, this is major resistance. So buying here is very, very hard. If you buy here, you have to be willing to add on if it fails. If you're not willing to add on, you're taking a bad trade. Are we back above the anchored VWAP from the high? It looks like we are. Yeah, we definitely are. And then where is the 618? I'm guessing right around where we are exactly. Yep, almost exactly where we are. So the 618 here is around 51.4. If we can get above 51.4, then that will be technically, the way I look at it, this downtrend will be over completely. Now, obviously, short term, the downtrend is clearly over. But I mean long term, according to this entire impulse here. Once the 618 is broken, then this downtrend will be officially over. Yeah, Bill Williams, the same guy who did the alligator, yeah. He has books on chaos. He talks about like chaos in the markets. I think it's called Trading Chaos. Yeah, there should be a PDF on it. It's a pretty old book, but there should be a PDF. He has a, I don't know if it's a part 2 or it's a newer edition. It might be a 2-book series. The bulls are definitely stuck here. They tried to buy that up thinking it was going to be a reversal. But they couldn't get anywhere with it. Couldn't even reclaim the value very low. You're actually creating a nice node down here. You see the node on the left? It's creating a massive node here. So if you hang out here for the rest of the day, you could shift the POC down. But it doesn't have to. You could lose this node and just continue lower. And then it would create like a tail. You'd have like a tail down here. Do I have any tips on adjusting tick size? What works best for you? Ticks? What do you mean by tick size? Adjusting tick size for what? Dom said thoughts on Qs, medium term, not much volume support below us. Let me see. Jeez, my levels are all over the place. Are these old levels, or did I just make these? Let's clean this up. Yeah, it looks like everything lines up with like 376, the gap fill. I don't like this candle close yesterday, and then we have confirmation today. So these two candles back to back are definitely not good. You did have a lot of buy support right here on today's Thursday, so Wednesday, Tuesday, on Tuesday's candle. So you could see you had a lot of buy support on Monday and Tuesday around, excuse me, around that level. 378.45 to 379 at 380. Let's just say 378 to 380. There's a lot of buy support. But if you break that, very likely going to get that that gap fill. Oh, we have new monthly VWAPs because we just got our monthly close. Let's take a look. SPY monthly VWAP that closed last month is at 444 almost. Q's is at 368.50. IWM is at 220. Dow Jones is at 352. Okay, so those are all very key levels. If we start to correct short term, that's what you guys want to be watching for. Those levels have been key every month for the past 1, 2, 3, 4. The past 4 months, we have tested that VWAP. I guess that's not really a test, but I'm counting that as a test. Each correction has come down very, very close or touched the previous month's VWAP. So, very high odds that we will come back to that 444 level on SPY within this month. And historically, that has been a very good buy. And we can go back even further, and we've touched. So I won't count this one. 1, 2, 3. Didn't touch that one. 4, 5, 6. Didn't touch that. This one, where did that close? Yeah, we touched that. 7. And then this one. Yeah, so 8. Almost every single one except for 2 or 3 for the past year. So very, very high chance that we come back to test this 444. It doesn't have to be immediate. It just has to happen within the month. What's the monthly candle look like? Pretty strong. That's a strong candle on SPY. Yeah, Qs. Yeah, they all look good. Dow Jones, not so much, but it's not bad. Yeah, very strong. Tick size on the histogram? Oh, you mean on the volume profile? I use 100. Or that's row size. I use 100. But I use rows, not ticks. Hey, Suresh. I see a lot of new names in chat. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I do stream 5 days a week. This week I had a few days off Next week, I might have some days off, but I think we'll be okay. But I normally stream, once we're back to normal, I stream Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, which is power hour on the equities market. If you guys are new to trading, also make sure to check out my How to Trade playlist on YouTube. There's about 25 videos on there that go over a bunch of different trading techniques, especially volume profile. If you guys like the way I use volume profile or you want to learn more about it, there's about 10 videos, I think, at this point on that playlist. Hey, Ahmed. Yeah, I hate missing streams, man. I've been streaming damn near, I wouldn't say every day, but I'd say at least 5 days a week for the past 3 years almost. I had a few times where I took like a few months break, but I haven't taken a break like that in a long time. So it is kind of weird missing missing stream days. We'll be back to normal pretty soon once I have my new office set up. And it's also going to be a lot better too, for especially for Discord guys. In Discord, I do post the analysis pretty late right now. But once I get my new office set up, I'm going to try to post the analysis every single day around like 4 to 5 o'clock. So like right after the market closes, that's when I'm going to try to start pushing out the analysis. So it'll be a lot easier for you guys who don't stay up as late. Excuse me. And for you guys who are European traders, I know if I posted at like 10 o'clock my time, it's like 3 a.m. your time. So I'm going to try to get the analysis coming out a lot earlier. I'll probably also have the summary of markets coming out earlier too. We'll probably try to do more of like a lunchtime instead of like a 4 p.m. Eastern. So it's going to be a little bit of change in the schedule. And then I'm going to finally release the bot as well once we're situated. That's impressive. Yeah, it's a lot easier when I stream 1 hour a day, man. If you used to watch my stream back in 2018 when we started, we were streaming like 8 to 10 hours. It was very hard. When I first started streaming in 2018, it was mainly crypto. We were scalping crypto a lot on stream. And we would literally just sit on stream and trade almost all day. And streaming while trading is extremely stressful. So then I started lowering it down to like 4 hours a day. Then eventually I went down to like 5 days a week. And then now we just do it like an hour a day. And this is sustainable. Like I could do this forever. This doesn't bother me. It's easy to fit into my schedule. I'm trading anyway, so I'm at my computer. Hey Frank, what's going on? You see what I said earlier about the node? It's starting to build up. It's very close to being POC. What time is it? You probably don't have enough time to put the POC here. Unless, like, all the closing volume is right on the pivot. So notice how the top of the node is almost exactly where the pivot is. It's a shame that people don't watch these type of videos. That is what it is, man. I think our channel grows pretty steadily. I don't get like massive viewership or anything, but the YouTube's been growing pretty steadily. Like just a year ago, I think we were less than 1,000 subs, and now we're at close to 10,000. We're doing pretty good. And I'm not a very outgoing streamer. Like I'm not trying to entertain you guys like crazy. Like it's more of a teaching, educational thing. There's like 2 types of trading channels that people enjoy watching. I guess 3. There's like the people that are like very outgoing, and they're like constantly cracking jokes and they're making a meme out of it. And then you have the people that are just flashing their P&Ls. And then you have like the educational channels. And I try to fall in the educational side of it. I don't like when people don't take trading seriously, because you can lose a lot of money trading. Like if you guys take this as a joke, or you think it's just like a get rich quick scheme. Like it's not a laughing matter. Like you guys can lose a lot of money if you're fucking around. And we have a lot of fun. We've had a lot of fun in Discord. We've had a lot of fun over the years on stream. But I'm not going to make trading to be like a joke, right? Like I said, we'll have a small account challenge coming up too. We'll have a lot of fun on that. Once we get situated, we'll start a new challenge account. What we haven't done in a long time is a trading competition. We did one of those, I think, over a year ago. We used to do them all the time. We used to do them every few months. So we might do something like that if people are down for it in Discord. The only problem is the best way to do them is on crypto. And crypto is a pain in the ass to trade right now because they keep kicking people off exchanges. But I'll think of something. If I can think of a way to make it easy for us all to have like a trading competition. I think it's easier to get everyone to trade crypto than to get everyone to trade stocks. That's why I say crypto is easier. Because most stock accounts, you like have to give your social security number. You got to like go through the whole process of opening an account. It takes a while. Crypto, you can literally set up a crypto account a day. I remember back in, what was it, 2018? We did a crypto trading competition in Discord, and the starting account, because I wanted to make it a small amount, right? The starting account was like 0.1 Bitcoin. 0.1 Bitcoin nowadays is not a small account challenge. Hey, Crux. Appreciate that, man. Glad you enjoyed the videos. Suresh said, Momo is saying a bottom being set at this level. Need an up move to confirm. Yeah, so it's trying to bottom here. So like it warned you that there's a bottom here. This one has kind of played out already. You had the move. The trend line is still showing that it's finding a bottom. It hasn't found the bottom yet. But once the trend line starts to push up kind of like it did here, then that will confirm the bottom. The trend line will lag because this is the trend, right? This is the long term. This is the short term. So like if we had a bottom warning here and then the short term starts to spike rapidly, then we could say that this is confirming the bottom. but it's not fully confirmed until the Momo trend line pushes higher. So the trend line is going to lag the histogram. When it doesn't lag, and when you see a pinch, that's when you see the really strong moves. Because it shows you that the trend is not lagging the short-term price action. That's why the pinches are so strong. We saw a really strong pinch on, I think it was Zoom weekly. Johnny told me to look at Zoom earlier, and I saw the pinch on it. Where's the... Yeah, look at the weekly. So when the trend line and the histogram start to pinch like that, and they go the same direction, there's no lagging whatsoever. Whatever direction it's going, that's where price is going. So it started to pinch downward, and then it got nuked. It's still pinching, too, so you would not be buying Zoom here. Here's a good example of what I was talking about earlier. So you have the shading, which is telling you that it's trying to find a bottom, which it did, right? But look at the histogram. The histogram starts surging way before the trend line because it's short term. So the short term tells you, hey, we're breaking away from the bottom, and then you have that confirmation. Then you finally confirm the bottom. If you read the Momo like that, you will do very well in your trading. It will help you a lot. You've never done crypto, you'd certainly like to learn it. It's a fun time. You can definitely make a lot of money very quickly. The way that I explain it to people that haven't traded crypto, but they've traded other things, is think of it like penny stocks. It trades very similar to penny stocks. There's like random announcements that spike it or nuke it. It has a lot of very weird price action that comes out of nowhere. It doesn't have like very set in stone like guidelines. Like it's very similar to penny stocks. If you're like a blue chip trader and or you're a penny stock trader and you come over to crypto, the penny stock trader is going to get acclimated a lot faster than the blue chip guy. If the blue chip guy only trades Bitcoin, Ethereum, he'll be okay. But if he starts trying to trade shit coins, he's going to get hurt. It's not exactly no rhyme or reason. It definitely has patterns. It's just not exactly the same as equities patterns. A great example is the rising wedge. So a rising wedge, historically on equities, is bearish. Unless it's on like the indexes. The indexes it doesn't work on because they want to go infinitely higher. But if you see a very clear rising wedge on, say, something like, I don't know, like a random stock, like DoorDash, it's probably going to break to the downside. But on Bitcoin, it's almost always bullish. If you see a rising wedge, it tries to fake you out and it pretends to go down, but then it stop hunts you and then nukes, or it blows back up to the upside. So it's certain stuff like that you have to get used to. And then you had like the BART patterns that were only in crypto for a long time. Then we started seeing them in equities a lot, where you go straight down, go sideways for a little bit, then go straight back up. What time is it? 10 minutes to close and you're already getting a lot of volume. Man, moving my neck to look at my other monitors is hard. I've been painting like all day the past few days and my neck is killing me. Can I take a look at Dash? It's forming a wedge. That's so funny because I just randomly picked that name out of nowhere. It actually is. Holy shit. That is funny. Randomly chose this name. It's pushing it. It's not exactly a rising wedge, but it is tightening a little bit. So something like this, and here's the thing about rising wedges. You see how we're kind of like in the middle of the wedge? This pattern is bearish, but look at how far we are from the top. If you took this trade here, and we went to go test the top of the wedge, you're like, oh man, this is such a scam. This is a bearish pattern. You're not even testing the top of the wedge, you know what I mean? So you're not getting scammed. It's going for the test. The best place to take rising wedge shorts is along the trend line. So if you take trades anywhere other than that trend line, you can get pushed away. But yes, it does look like a little bit of a wedge. If it breaks below that pivot at 185, you should go back down to this area down here. But I like this right now, actually. Like, if you ignore the wedge, I like this little cupping pattern, or it's more of like a V-shaped pattern. This is typically bullish. So if you can break this flat top here, you should be pretty good. Go to 200, maybe 215. Oh, you're just talking about the local candles? Yeah, it's getting a little tight. Yeah, it looks a little weak when you look at the 1 hour. Very choppy mess. Look, this one thing about DoorDash, it trades like shit. We traded this like the first few weeks of IPO. The volume was abysmal, and the spread was really bad. Like the spread on just shares was really bad. Is Bitcoin going to 100K today? I think it definitely is going to go up or down. Very high chance you're going to go up or down. SPY shifted the value area low down a little bit. So we're technically inside the value area now. It's filling in this little volume gap here. Look for VWAP here. You could get a VWAP retest. Thanks for the financial advice. Yeah, man. As long as it goes up or down, you'll make money, for sure. How does Facebook look? It was looking pretty strong yesterday. Down 2% today, actually. I didn't see that. Nasty. Oh, this is actually good here. You're putting in a daily pivot, which is kind of ugly. But if it holds this level, very key level around 373, if it holds this level, you could bounce very quickly back to like 380, 385. Dalton says initial balance is irrelevant. So Dalton is like the godfather on volume profile. So obviously he knows much more than I do. I don't think it's irrelevant. But as you guys can tell, I don't use it every single day. I definitely don't think it's a massive thing to need to, you don't need to use it. So in that sense, it is irrelevant. Like, you don't need it. It does help. It definitely does help. And I've shown you guys in Discord plenty of trades off of the initial balance and on stream. So it's helpful. It's not needed. Which is almost everything in trading. There's your VWAP retest. The only time I very actively use initial balance is if I'm scalping in the morning. If I'm not scalping in the morning, which I haven't been doing recently, I don't use it. Which is why you guys have not seen it on my charts. If you're scalping the first hour of the day, I think it's you definitely need it. Hey, Alvik, I just saw that come in, man. I appreciate the tier 1 sub. Not sure if you're still here. I do not have sub alerts on for the stream, but I do appreciate it, man. Thank you for supporting the channel. Nice finish on the day. Yeah, really good close. Really good close. Massive buy volume on SPY and Qs. You can't see it on my chart. Let me screenshot it on my other monitor. This is why I don't have volume up on my chart. I look at volume on my other monitor for the most part. These are the 1-minute charts for SPY and Qs. Look at this volume spike here. Massive volume spike. These are always up on my other screen. What I like to look at is the 21 moving average and the 50 moving average. The 21 EMA and the 50 moving average on the 1-minute for SPY and Qs. And these will give you a very good idea of like what the trend is doing. So when you see stuff like this, where the 1-minute is constantly below the 21, it's like not breaking it at all. That is a very strong downtrend. So like if I see stuff like this, I do not take trades. Like I try not to buy dips or anything. Because that trend is too strong. How do you set up VWAP? There's a built-in VWAP indicator. So if you just go to built-ins, it's in built-ins, it's VWAP. I don't use that one. Because I don't have VWAP on my chart at all times. When I want to see VWAP, I just click the anchored VWAP tool, and then I just do the VWAP from wherever I want to see it. But if you use the built-in one, you can turn it on. The reason I don't have the built-in one on is when you turn it on, it does VWAP for like the entire day. Or sorry, every day. It does every day. I don't want to see all that mess on my chart. So like if I want to look at VWAP, I just want to see this day. So I'll just take this day. But alright guys, I gotta get going. Got a lot of work to do with the new house. Appreciate you guys being here. Sorry about missing the streams this week. Very low chance that I stream tomorrow. I'll probably have to take another day off. If I do stream, I will let you guys know on Twitter. So make sure you guys follow me on Twitter. I'll let you guys know ahead of time. But probably not. I wouldn't expect to stream. But we might have one. So just be on the lookout. And then Monday is a holiday, so I won't see you guys Monday. We will still have the weekly watch list on Sunday. So make sure to watch out for that. And then, actually, we might not have a weekly watch list. I would have to do it from my laptop because I'm taking my entire office down this weekend. So I might not even have any monitors set up for that. Yeah, okay, so once again, look at my Twitter. I'll let you guys know if we have a weekly watch list. We will have one eventually, so it will either be like Sunday or Tuesday. But I don't know if it will be on Sunday because I have to take my entire office down and move it to the new house. So it's gonna be a process, to say the least. But alright guys, we should be back to normal pretty soon. Make sure to subscribe and like the video if you guys are new. I will be definitely streaming on Tuesday. So I'll see you guys Tuesday. Yeah, that's all I got. You guys have a good weekend if I don't see you tomorrow. And I'll see you guys soon. Peace out, guys.